afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being there for this afternoon. Today, we are pleased to welcome Dr. Gyanendra Singh, a very special guest from ICMR NIOH Ahmedabad. At present, he is a scientist C in ICMR, National Institute of Occupational Health. He was a postdoctoral researcher in Louisiana Vaccine Center in New Orleans, USA. He has achieved his doctorate in molecular toxicology from Central Drug Research Institute from Lucknow. He has number of publications in UGC renowned journals, and he is also editor in some of the journals. And today he will be sharing with us his expert opinion on the drug toxicity. Thank you, sir, for sparing your precious time.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, sir, over to you.
Yeah. So how many, the audience is there? So mostly PG students or undergraduate or doctor students. So what you say, Ain?
All of them, sir.
All of them. So what's the total strength? Is more than 100, below 100?
It would be, I think, more than 100.
More than 100. So that would be good, right? So it would be in a broader perspective. Okay, so since Ain ma'am has already told you guys that I would be giving the drug toxicology and development lecture. Since my PhD in drug toxicology, especially in preclinical development, and the topic that I'm presenting today is more of interest because right now so many people are they are involved in vaccine development, and we all know this corona pandemic going on, and so many drug companies, vaccine industry, they put their steps to get some kind of vaccine, some kind of protection so that we can get rid of this coronavirus infection. So I just wanted to let you know that it's not that simple to get a vaccine developed for any disease. So I thought it would be good for me to at least give a broad view about how this vaccine get developed or any drug get developed from a molecule. So, as you know, I found it. This is the cartoon that's showing that, I got a drug in respect of drug development. But, the scientist, aside from this fellow, and tells that, congratulations, you just got 65, something seconds. So it tells you that, because he's counting on time. Also, it's not like you have enormous time, you have free time. No, you have to develop a drug within a speculative time period. So it's difficult. So this is the pharma value chain. So right from gene or gene sequencing, from target discovery, it keeps on going for target validation, lead discovery, preclinical, and the clinical trial phase 1, clinical phase 5, phase 2, clinical trial phase 3, and then manufacturing and the distribution. That's what vaccine industry are doing right now, from preclinical to the distribution. So the initial from the left hand side, you will see there is a drug discovery. You have discovered drug, suppose a molecule like in corona vaccine, you got the spike proteins, the surface proteins, and then you evaluate in an animal model or in vitro model whether it's safe, it's efficacious, means it's effective against the disease, and its safety in clinical trials. After this clinical trial that happens in human, then it go for commercialization, right from manufacturing to the distribution. So how discovery takes place. So develop an assay to evaluate activity of compounds on the target molecule, right? Whatever. Suppose we are going for Covaxin, so it's a coronavirus. So what I had done to get this acquainted in vitro through enzyme and say in vivo animal model, that I would come later. The leading step in this thing to identify lead compound. What compound you're getting to go against the particular disease. So there are so many things called screen collection compounds. We call it high compound screening. You can have that term. If you Google it, you will come across so many. Compound from published literature earlier, like antiviral drugs that was developed for malaria, but it has been proved that it has somewhat effective against coronavirus. So again, from the published literature, you can get that information. Screening natural compounds. So many like Patanjali and so many Dabur, they say you boost your immunity. And from these natural compounds, sometimes you get a lead of 1 or 2 compounds, again infectious disease or other ailments, and then a structure is there. After having all this information, that is all is present in the public domain, and certain pharma company, because of their own interest, they patent it. That's why patenting comes, and then they screen against particular disease. So they have a structure of compound, and they go and hit. We call it docking, molecular docking. So they wanted to know whether this a particular drug, it has a protective caveat against certain disease or not, right? That's how it goes. Then optimize to give a proof of concept, whether the concept is original, it would work, and then it has to go for certain pharmacology activities like pharmacodynamics, pharmacokinetics, metabolism, off-target activities, and ultimate safety evaluation, preclinical candidate, then clinical trials. As I said earlier, it's a very slow and a very costly process. Stage from one done discovery to FDA approval or IND approval in Indian context. So somewhere it takes from like if you screen 10,000 compounds for a particular disease, you end up in having one approved drug, and the time it takes is from 6.5 years in just for preclinical studies, and for clinical trials around 5 to 7 years, and then in FDA approval or IND approval, we call it post-market surveillance. It takes around 1 to 2 years. So the whole process of getting identification to having marketed product, it takes around 15 years. Yes, you heard me right. It's 15 years. So now you can imagine if vaccines are developed within 2 or 1 years of period of time, definitely there must be a real need. So that all these phases have been cut down significantly to some extent, right? Like in third trial. So in our vaccine, the third trial has not begun. Now it's begun, but they have started giving vaccine to the required individuals. That's why people are saying that is why you have cut down so many processes, because it's a need, right? The country is a need. We need to save lives, so that's why we have cut down some stress. But ultimately, the future will tell. Clinical trials that is going with the front line worker will tell you in future that what we have achieved. So far, the results are promising as ICMR is involved, and we are saying there is a protection against coronavirus with this Covaxin vaccines. So another question: why compounds fail? So why there are so many compounds they are going for screening and they get failed in development of vaccine or compounds or drugs? Because market is a 6%, but most of the 41% of the share of the failure is because of poor PK profile. It's called pharmacokinetic. You give a drugs, but it's not coming in your plasma concentration. It's the same thing like you get sick and you go to the doctor, and doctor says you have to take this antibiotic or this foreign drug for twice in a day or thrice in a day or once in a day, because that all gets because of this pharmacokinetic profile. How much is the concentration of the drug that gets in the plasma concentration? That's how it got distributed in the whole body system. So 40% of the drugs get failed in poor pharmacokinetic profile, because drugs not getting enough in the plasma concentration. So how it got distributed in the body compartments? That's get failed. 22% that is called toxicity, that is called preclinical toxicity, that fails. Yes, 22% get failed. Around 1/4 get failed in toxicity studies. And lack of efficacy, that is 31%. That's how so many drug companies are coming and they say our thing is infectious. The other one is not that much efficacy. 70% efficacy, 30% efficacy, 70 is 90. That all depends upon this efficacy. So 31% again get failed because of this efficacy thing, and market is 6%. Sometimes the company has to take back their product because of some impurities that they found later. So it does describe to investigation you describe we call IND. I will not take much of time because I know it's a general public. So I will just go through the headings. It's like target identification and validation. That hit identification. It means yes, you got a molecule and that is proven to be effective against certain disease. And then lead identification. Now you lead identify that molecule and you optimize that surface receptor or whatever the molecule or compound you are going through. And then preclinical development. What are the prerequisites for undertaking toxic studies? So what are the steps that is required to go for preclinical studies, like biological efficacy that I've already told, dosage form to ensure bioavailability of active principle. It's like that. Sometimes doctor prescribes you 20 milligram, like cetirizine. 10 milligram is more than enough, and sometimes you have to go for 450 milligram, 500 milligram, like Disprin, aspirin. All this anti-fever compound, because the bioavailability is very less, so you have to get in big quantity. So that's how drug doses depends, and all this comes from single dose animal pharmacokinetic studies at ED50. ED50 effective dose at 50% dose level. So all this comes from animal studies, and then it goes through series of batteries evaluation, like safety pharmacology, for erectile CNS, central nervous system ENS, autonomic nervous system, and cardiovascular system, that is called CVS. That's how, some people are claiming that after giving these vaccines, we got heart attack. That may be the adverse effect. That may be the side effect. But companies always do take care of this thing, so you don't have to worry about it. Only when it is proven that is safe in elderly population, then only comes into the market. Like BP, heart rate, smooth muscle function, bodily reflexes. They already been noted during clinical trials. Safety pharmacology, I'm not getting into the details, is like a potential visible pharmacologic effects on the physiological function of vital organs. The core battery of tests that involved in safety pharmacology is cardiovascular, CVS, respiratory system, and CNS. Let's come to the general toxicology. What is general toxicology? Pivoted to determining whether the proposed clinical trial is safe to proceed. Identify doses to be avoided. Yes. Yeah, you cannot have 1 kg of sugar. You cannot have 1 kg of salt, right? It would be toxic. That's the dose, right? 1 spoon is more than enough, right? So drug monitoring in the clinic. So now that's what is happening. So who else is getting this COVID vaccine? They are asked to be there for 30 minutes or have to be in the routine, as well. Because of if something goes by, at least the clinician can take care of this thing. Calculate safety margin, exposure at the NOAEL or clinic exposure. Yes, that's a term called no observed adverse effect level. There is an effect, but it's not observed thoroughly. So these things have to be taken in account before our drug goes to the clinical phases. Speed selection, very important. Dose selection, absolutely necessary. Duration of administration and route of administration and endpoints. What are the endpoints that has been achieved by having the drug delivery? So we have some term called standard systemic and local. Many of the guys, you don't understand what is systemic, what is local. Local is like you got infection in the muscle, in the arm muscle or in the thighs, is called local. And suppose you get in intravenous something, is called systematic because it gets distributed all over the body. So this is the difference. You have local anesthesia, right? You are going for dentistry and you have a toothache, so doctor will give you local anesthesia. So it will just take care of the local irritation or local itching. While systematic, you are unconscious, right? You get this kind of effects. So repeat dose toxicity, single dose toxicity, chronic, carcinogenic, genotoxic, reprotoxicity. Yes. Single dose toxicity, you give a compound for one time and you go for a series of toxicity evaluation. It's called single. Repeated dose, you have to give it multiple times. That's how drug goes for once in a day or twice in a day or thrice in a day because of these toxicity studies. Chronic toxicity, because you have to give a drug for a longer period of time. So, most of the effect that doesn't come in single dose, doesn't come in a short period of time will elongate with the chronic exposure. Carcinogen study like cancer study, right? You drink a water that is contaminated with arsenic, chromium, you get cancer. So because of these things, we have to go for cancer study even for the drugs. What if a drug is not showing any effect for 15 days, 20 days, 1 month or 2 months? What if the drug shows effect after 6 months? Like blood pressure medicines, right? You have to take it forever. Anti-diabetic compounds, anti-diabetic drugs, you have to take it forever. Cardiovascular disease drugs, you have to take for a very long time. So for these drugs, there is a requirement to have a cardiovascular study tested on this compound. Genotoxicity, yes. What if you are taking a compound it causes the mutations? Cancers, yes, they have been instances. People are taking drugs and they're called causes other cancer, like chemotherapy drugs in cancer patients. Yes, chemotherapy are given to stop unwanted cells, but sometimes it appears that it causes another kind of mutation, and that may lead to cancer. It's not always, maybe there are chances because they are given at higher doses. And respiratory toxicity, that's a very important aspect. You get some drugs, you don't see any effects apparently, but later you found that your proteins have been malfunctioned because of the drugs, especially in teenage girls, boys. They get some drugs and it ends up in hormonal dysregulation, and it's very common. So don't take any drug without the prescription, without advice of the doctor. Don't be a doctor by yourself. You don't have training in that. Some definition: dose is the amount of substance administered expressed in milligram per kg body weight. You go to the pharmacist, you go to the doctor, you said, this is the antibiotic I'm giving to my son. So he may ask the regular question: what's his weight? What is his age? On the basis of that, it divides, right? It's like a 60 milligram per kg watt and 100 milligram kg watt. You cannot give ideal dose to the children because it should be half or 1/3. Otherwise, his liver will fail, right? Liver has to go for biotransformation. Therefore, it's very important to not to exceed the required doses. The second term is doses. Comprise doses, frequency and duration time, right? You have to take this dose for 5 days, antibiotics for 5 days, hypertension test for 1 month, antibiotic forever. It all depends upon the dosage. So don't get confused. And the other term is dose response, relationship between the dose and proportion of the population to define effects. Yeah, this is a little bit in deep, but it's like how much dose has given to the certain population and what graph is showing. That's what is going on with the corona vaccine thing. Yeah, they are monitoring it. Dose effect, relationship between the dose and the magnitude of the biological effect. Yes, very requirement. Very much important. Some common terms is like therapeutic index is like a drug index value, lethal dose over effective dose of 50%, margin of safety is LD at 1% over effective dose 99%. These are just definitions. Chronic index single dose LTT overdose for 90 days. These are just toxicity terms, but it's very required. All the companies have to take all these terms in account. Single dose honesty is the initial step in assessment of toxic characteristics of a chemical or compound. It's the first step, go for toxicity. Provides information on health hazard likely to occur from short-term exposure to that substance or a molecule. This is then to determine the degree of toxicity and provide information of possible hazard. And as both sexes are used, the size difference in toxicants can be treated, whether it is more prone to give toxic effects in males or in females. That's how it does for single dose toxicity. Interpretation of results, maximum tolerance, how much your liver can tolerate. That's why the company has said, don't give aspirin or salicylic acid or whatever antipyretic drug from more than a prescribed dose, because what happens, this is maximum tolerance. After that, the reaction, the adverse effect would start in the body. Minimum lethal dose. This is the lethal dose minimum you give, and somebody would die, right? Target order of toxicity, is a liver toxic, it's a kidney toxic, it's a heart toxic, whatever. It comes with all this information. LD50 or median is escalated on all this on these molecules the company is going through. And there are certain drugs called 2 weeks and 4 weeks repeat. It's intent to get checked in animal model on the basis of the exposure or the intake in human. Suppose you have to take for 1 day in a human, like any painkiller, you just get 1 or 2 doses. So it has to have 7 days toxicity in rat. So because only on 7 days, after 7 days, you get some information. You cannot go for 1-to-1, right? So that's how it goes. And again, rodents, at least you have 10 per sex per group, and non-rodents 3 per sex per group. Okay, so these are all important, parameters before a drug passes from preclinical trial to clinical trials. And what are the general toxicology endpoints? Is the mortality, right? The rat, the mice, the dog dies. Clinical signs, yes. Blood pressure, even dog gets checked, after 1 hour, 30 minutes. All these are clinical signs. Body weight, temperature, activity, hematology. We all know, right? First thing doctor asks you to go for all this hematology checkup. WBC, RBC, platelet, whatever. Clinical chemistry, toxicology, and pathology, right? Complete battery of tissue. Pathology is very important. Very important. Sometimes the tumor develops. You think it's like a non-benign, right? And then the only doctor can advise, get it checked, get it slide, seen by some pathology, and you will know. Again, I will not get into the materials. It's like systemic toxicity, single dose rending and repeated toxicity, like species, rodent, non-rodent. Rodent means mice or rat, non-rodent means like logomorph, like rabbit or dogs, and monkeys last. So genetic toxicology, core battery of tests, microbial mutation tests, in vitro mammalian chromosome, in vivo nuclear. These are all genetic tests required a drug when it goes to the clinical trial. It's very important, right? You get any molecules, you go for some disease, and what if it causes a mutation? So instead of getting benefited from that drug, you get harmful effect, right? The last test substance prior to phase 2. Phase 2 means phase 2 clinical trial. Post-signal may lead to additional testing, data conveyed in the label. Post-signal means, there are signs that it causes mutation. It means the drug has to be carefully monitored to get into the clinical trials. The reproductive toxicology. 3 types of studies are required to go for this reproductive toxicology or reproductive toxicity studies. Fertility, we all know fertility is a big issue nowadays. And early embryonic development, you have seen, children with abnormal development. Embryo-fetal development, what if embryo, dies in the fetal stage, pre and postnatal, like before birth and after birth. And combined studies are acceptable but require complex design. The drugs which are going for more than 6 months are very much required to go through these reproductive toxicity studies, because you never know when you will be conceiving, right? And you keep on taking the drug, and what if it gets you in trouble? So data will be conveyed in the drug label. Yes, you have to not don't use in pregnancy, right? You have seen the drug label. Not it's called Schedule H drug. Do not take in pregnancy here. It clearly mentions. So I'm just little bit pointing on the reproductive studies since I've worked on this toxicity study. It's lower dose and toxic effect. You would be amazed to know that reproductive system is more sensitive around 33% toxic availability. So if I say one is giving like a full toxicity in body, I would say there are three times more that your reproductive get disturbed because of that exposure. This is two generation reproductive studies evaluated reproductive system as a whole over two generation, both male and female. Both are required because you want to know male fertility and female fertility. It's very costly, laborious, and very high number of MS are required because it's very important, very crucial. To test fertility, then teratogenicity, and third post-nitrogen. These are three segments of reproductive toxicity. Reproductive toxicity, again, reproductive fertility performance tests, then segments to zero toxicity. It comes with embryo lethality, toxicity, and teratogenicity, and pre and postnatal study. So I am little bit more concerned about this embryo toxicity and teratogenicity. It's like abnormality of fetus. It's called birth defect, right? The layman term is birth defect for embryo toxicity or embryogenicity or teratogenicity. Treatment during the organogenesis period. Careful evaluation of fetal losses and malformation in interpretation is given to the severity of the effects and take effects in the fetus and signs of maternal toxicity. It is very much required. Therefore, female patients are so many questions regarding this thing because you never know what happens. So this is I don't know you guys are very young for this to know. This is a study. It happened in 1960. There was a drug called thalidomide. So what happens in pregnancy when ladies get pregnant? They have nausea. They have a feeling of vomit out. Because to reduce this, there was a wonder drug came out that's called thalidomide, and that was given to those ladies. It was a wonderful drug. They were very happy with the drug because no nausea was like minimal or absent. But what happened? They got this kind of birth defect. These are all because of those thalidomide disaster, and it termed as a thalidomide disaster because those drugs were not checked for their statogenicity, and that lead to around somewhere around 5,000 to 14,000 children they got malformed because of single dose of this thalidomide. So an estimated around 8 to 12,000 infants were born with deformities caused by this thalidomide, and only about 5,000 of these survived beyond childhood. All got died because of thalidomide exposure. And this the drug company that was that made the drug was Contragen and was bought to the trial. And but the company said it was not it was not expected that drug will go that one. So after that, all the companies they shared a thought that yes, the teratogenicity or fertility has to have to be in the trial when the drug has to be in more than a certain period of time, maybe 3 months, maybe 6 months. But you will be amazed to know that thalidomide that previously caused this birth defect now have been used for curing multiple myelomas. You believe that? So a drug is a drug. Sometimes it has a beneficial effect, sometimes it has side effect. The side effect has to be proven that it has a good effect on some other disease. That's why that something tries to patent their thing. So these are the drug effects on fetal development in the blastocyst organogenesis period and maturation. These are affected by citrus, alcohol, tetragen, like thalidomide I explained you, retinoids, anti-arthritis, warfarin, antibiotics that falls in this category. Alcohol, nicotine, ACE inhibitor, steroid, it goes after maturation. So what are the manifestations of developmental toxicology? Like structure, you can see a baby is malformed by just looking. Growth retardation, you might have encountered so many children. You look them and you say, yeah, it's like retarded. Function impairment, like they have diabetes from birth, is abnormal effect, right? And death of organs. So if we talk about human development, it's like 40 weeks, right? 9 months. So from 0 to 4 and from 4 to 6 is called organogenesis period, where embryo is getting converted into fetal. Yes, is the growth of organs. So that time, if you take some unwanted drug that is not prescribed by the doctor, then you are putting yourself in a great danger, because this is the most susceptible period for embryo to go for a malformation. So you have to be very careful. Do not take any drug when you are 4 weeks pregnant to 6 weeks pregnant. I would say not till 40, right? Unless it is being prescribed by a medical person. So these are human development stage, from period from conception to the parturition, means delivery. You can see neural tube defects, mental retardation, and central nervous system. This is less sensitive, but extreme sensitive is from 3 to 16 weeks. So if you get unwanted drug without prescription of the doctor, you may end up in some abnormality. So initial 3 to 16 weeks are very crucial to embryogenesis, and any insert means any unwanted result would lead to teratogenesis or birth defect. Okay, that was in human case, but in animals, the conventional procedure, because human has 9 months or 38 weeks or 40 weeks period of gestation, but in mice or in rat is 20 or 21 days. So within 20 days the fetus will develop and it will be delivered. So if you have to parallelly see the effect, or you have to parallelly evaluate the effect, so it would be similar to 60 to 15 days. So you have to give a drug from day 16, day 6 to day 50, and you have to take out the embryos on 20th or 19th day to see the effect. But the problem associated with this conventional procedure is the in vivo procedure. In vivo means actual in the animals. Time consuming, involvement of more animals, cost intensive, species differences, having limited applicability to humans. So that's how it goes. I'm telling my own work, that I've done in my PhD. So these are, damn we call pregnant, rat. And these are the embryos that has been pointed out with the arrow. The single embryo on the right side, and these are embryogenesis. We put embryo in a certain period, and after 24 hours we harvest them, and we treat them with different chemicals to see whether there is a retardation in their structure or not. So that's how is a like 12th day post implantation. Implantation means it got implanted and it's 12th day right embryo. This is the fully fledged foot embryo. It has heart, it has everything, but in primitive state. So if I ask you which one is the more good-looking embryo or a performly embryo as per to the deformed one, so obviously the question will come: the right one would look to you more deformed as compared to the left one. But the rate is both these left sides are deformed. The right one is the right one. Is a complete good embryo. This is my own study. Is like diclofenac is a sodium, is a nimesulide that has been given to these embryos. After they have been harvested. As you see, here is a control embryo. I have not given any drug to this embryo. I have not been treated to any drug. Just saline. And B, C, D is a diclofenac different concentration. And you could see on C and D, there's a complete malformation. See, the tail should be round, circle, but it's kink. Kinking is like deformed. So definitely, if this is in human case, there will be absence of limbs, absence of hands, or absence of tail, legs. I mean, and you see this in the figure D is called craniofacial defects. It should be round. It should be as steep as in figure A, but it should be little bit variation. And these other drugs is a complete variety of tests. You harvest embryo from a rat, you put in the culture, you expose with different drugs consultation, and after 24 hours, you go for account for all these battery of tests. Moreover, this I was main concern with the multiple study, so I've done multiple. Nowadays, this comes in account with all these toxicities, carcinogenicity study, right? Cancer study. So it's done for drugs designed to be used for a substantial period, like anti-diabetic, antihypertensive. These drugs has to be taken for the rest of your life, right? So if repeated short periods of treatment investigates animals, rat or mice, 50 each plus group, dogs and monkey, 7 to 10 years study. Yes, you heard me right, 7 to 10 years, because of carcinogenicity study, you never know. A drug molecule may appear safe for a short period of time, but if you take it any longer, it may give you undesirable results. May cause you cancer. So the proposed route for clinical use, whatever the intended use to go in humans, same intended use has to be used for animal studies. So the duration for it is for 24 months, that 2 years, mice for 18 or 21 months, like 1.5 to 2 years. So what would be the observation to ensure survival of sufficient animals till the end of experiment for full histopathy examination? They had to be screened for histopathy examination, pathology examinations. Local and other toxicity, right? Local and other toxicity. These are the required when route of administration of a new drug in humans is other than oral. Some drugs have to go for parenteral way, right? Especially for small babies. So if someone has a high temperature, is not going with oral. Either you have to go for IV or parenteral route, right? So another route, yes. Doctor pulls it and temperature goes down within 15 to 20 minutes. Typical design for this study should include 3 dosage levels and untreated or vehicle control. Vehicle control means no drug, only water or saline. The study should have ideally conducted in two species, logomorph or rodents. Rodent is mice and rat, and logomorph is rabbit or upper species. Dermatoxin study. All this drugs that has a dermal application has to go for dermatoxin study. The animal species are required are rat, rabbit, and guinea pig. Daily dermal application of tests representing its clinical doses form is done. The skin of the test should be shaved 10% total body. Whatever the markets, whatever cosmetics have come to the market has to go for dermatoxicity. Sometimes they clearly stand not have been tested in animals for toxicity. Right? We have seen some certain powder that is not have been gone for dermatoxicity study, which means they have not done this thing. You have to be very cautious. All good companies they always go through their toxicity studies because it's all topical acting. Topical means skin. Test substance is applied and covered porous gauze. At least three drugs are, 3 doses are required. I'm not getting into the detail. Wherever skin irritation is grossly visible in initial active study, the recovery group should be included in the subsequent repeated study, right? You apply a cream and what it gives you, irritation, reddish irritation. It means it has not been tested with the animal or you have allergic to that compound. So you have to discontinue that, right? Rectal toxicity is required for all preparation meant for rectal administration. Rectal toxicity is anemia, right? To get your diet, like your stool softener. So many markets, so many things are present in the market, but they have to check for that toxicity. What if get into the parental? We call it parental route, and it causes some indulgent effect, so it has to go for all this kind of batteries. Inhalation, yes, inhalation. You go to the thing and go to the factory and somebody gives you a mask. You have to put that mask, all the time when you enter in the factory because they may be having some kind of inhalation compound in the fumes, like lead battery workers. Where these batteries are made, they have all these problems. So they have to put on mask because this H2S4 causes you toxicity. We call it respiratory alcohol. So animal species required to do these activities, one rodent and one rodent. Again, rat, mice, and rabbit. The standard seismic study design should be used. Aerosol by nose only method, limit dose 5 milligram. All this, this vaccine that are given by intranasal, most of the time it should be flu vaccine. They have all been checked for this inhaled toxicity. Everything has to be checked before it gets to the clinical trials or gets to the market. Ocular toxicity is like eye toxicity is product meant for ocular installation. The eye drop that you take from the market or the clinical prescription, it has to be go for ocular toxicity free. Otherwise, it would not be safe. Do not put any honey, any water, anything under until it has been advised to do so because you will lose your eyesight. So many cases have been done. So many cases has been observed. Liquid, ointment, gel should be used. These all have undergone through ocular toxicity studies. So always go for good drug companies because sometimes what happens, this is small drug companies, these always make a shortcut to go for these toxic studies. So, or until unless you see that thing that is been tested. Allergenicity or hypersensitivity. Guinea pig, we have a model of an animal called guinea pig, and from which we all this allergenicity or hypersensitivity toxicity tests been done. These animals are initially exposed to test substance by intradermal on the skin, and epidermal application on day 0 and test substance without friend competence. This is the chemical that is so many vaccines are required so that your immunity get boosted. 7 day and 2 weeks. Phototoxicity, clearly there are so many, topical creams, especially in case of, women. They ask you after applying this cream, please do not go outside because they may have some phototoxicity. That's why, these are companies that are advised. Please put that label. So whenever you have that kind of burning, do not go, in sun. Do not expose your sun because they may develop some photosensitivity and you have some irritation and maybe undesirable effect. So for having this toxicity study, the type study is administered topically or by such route. Reaction of skin to wavelength more than 3 to 2 meters is determined. That's how this SPF is gotten the reading of 20, 30, 50, 70, 80, whatever, right? Based on this toxicity study. So that's how it's been done. And at last, in my lab, we are going for toxicology studies like heavy metal toxicity. And very recently, we got a paper published in Environmental Science Pollution Research International. It's 3.5 impact factor. It's like therapeutic effects of biocanine, fluorine, and epiglottic. That is called breathing in reducing oxidative stress in arsenic toxicity. Right? Arsenic that comes with the water. We all drink water, and if you are not going for purified water, arsenic come to the water and you may have some toxicity. And it has been proven that arsenic causes cancer. So what's the remedy effect? So in mice, what we have tested that this biocanine these are all polyphenol. We call it polyflavonoids, protein, EGCG. They have a benefit effect in counteracting toxicity induced by arsenic. So that's it. If you have any questions, please let me know. If not today, maybe tomorrow, you can shoot me an email. You can ask your ma'am. She will forward your question to me, and I'm open to you guys. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir, for sharing this precious knowledge with us.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Good afternoon, sir.
Very good afternoon.
Sir, it was a very nice presentation. Sir, could you please let us know how we can correlate drug toxicity with forensic science?
Yeah, it's a very, very good question. So in forensic, what happens, sometimes victim got killed because of some toxins and you don't know what's going on. And so forensic team experts, that's how you collect samples at the site, right? The bloods, serum, sweat, saliva, because some drug compounds that don't come in HPLC study. So you have to go at NMR study to get molecule tested. Yes, like in silicones in 1980s, the silicon practice was going on. Those, by accidentally the silicon got busted in the body, and the lady died because of silicon. Later on, it was found out that it was the silicon that got in the blood and it circulated all over the body, and she got heart attack and died because of silicon infusion. Yes, so that's how it's very important to have toxicity study, because like potassium cyanide, KCN, it will not take more than 3 seconds to make you die, right? It's a CNS inhibitant. What happens? It affects your CNS system, and your CNS system gives signal to your respiratory system, do not breathe. You die immediately. Yes. So it's very toxic. Yeah, I would say forensic experts should have brief knowledge about toxicity studies. Drugs, chemicals. That's how you are going for it. Like what is called Russian, this the presidential candidate who got this nerve agent, right? So it's a toxic, right? Forensic people, the clinician, they find out it was a nerve agent. He might got killed if he would have not gotten the proper treatment, right? So yes, it's very important.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. At last, I am very grateful to your time and your precious knowledge. Because here at Department of Forensic Science, we are very much concerned about various fields which are connected with forensic science.
Right.
And that will open a new opportunity to work in it.
Yes.
So thank you very much, Gyanendra sir.
Thank you very much.
We are hoping that we'll always gain knowledge from your side. And thank you again.
Thank you. So, Ayn ma'am, what should I do now?
Uh, Thank you, sir, for your precious knowledge.
Oh, you are always welcome, madam. So, should I stop it here and you will discuss with your students? And if they have anything, any query, any question, just let me know. I will be more than happy to answer.
Okay, sir.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. So we can begin now.
Okay.